Hi, I'm Alex. For 3 years, my best friend Marcus and I built a revolutionary fitness app, Kinetic. I wrote the core proprietary code. Weeks before our crucial 5M VC pitch, Marcus unilaterally locked me out, stole the IP, and launched the company as his own, offering me a mere $15,000 severance. He thought I was just a naive coder he could discard. He didn't know I had built a secret, time-delayed kill switch into the code that I could activate remotely. I waited until his pitch meeting with Apex Fund triggered the switch and watched his multi-million-dollar venture collapse in real time. If you want to see a greedy friend lose everything due to a single line of code, like, share, and subscribe. The app, Kinetic, was supposed to be our legacy. Not just mine, but mine and Marcus's. We had been inseparable since college, bonded by a shared love of marathon running and the frustration of existing fitness tracking technology. For 3 grueling years, we poured every waking moment and every spare dollar into this project. Kinetic wasn't just a basic tracker. It was a proprietary predictive analytics engine capable of adjusting user workout routines based on real-time biometric and environmental data, offering hyper-personalized training schedules. Marcus, with his business degree and polished charisma, was the face and the finance lead. I, Alex, the introverted coder and systems architect, was the engine. I meticulously wrote approximately 90% of the core algorithm, the complex machine learning models, and, crucially, the entire monetization pipeline that integrated subscription tiers and personalized product recommendations. We had sunk over $200,000 of our own money into the venture, maxing out credit lines and working from my cramped apartment living room, surviving on ramen and sheer ambition. But the sacrifice felt justified. We were weeks away from the final, critical venture capital pitch to Apex Fund, a major player in the tech investment world, known for making or breaking young startups. A successful pitch meant an initial $5 million seed investment, the formal establishment of the company, and the realization of our impossible dream. The betrayal, when it came, was swift, professional, and utterly shattering. It happened on a Monday morning. I woke up, excited to push the latest bug fixes to our secure staging server. I opened my code editor, tried to access the central repository, a private GitLab instance we maintained, and found the keys instantly rejected. I tried the central server access, locked. I tried Marcus's private Slack channel for our project management, deactivated. I immediately called Marcus. He answered on the second ring, his voice unnervingly cheerful, almost celebratory, a chilling sound of manufactured innocence. "Hey, Alex, got your message. Listen, I needed to talk to you about Kinetic." "Marcus, what the hell is going on? Why are all my repository keys disabled? I can't access the main branch." My voice was tight with confusion, bordering on panic. I felt a cold knot forming in my stomach, recognizing the telltale signs of a hostile takeover. He sighed, the false cheer vanishing, replaced by a clinical, rehearsed detachment that wounded more than any insult. Look, I had to make a tough executive decision. Over the weekend, I revealed the core architecture. Honestly, Alex, your code is too convoluted. It's bulky, highly inefficient, and frankly, too messy for enterprise-level scaling. We can't take that to Apex. Inefficient? Marcus, that messy code is the entire predictive algorithm. It's the proprietary IP we've been selling for 3 years. It's the only reason we're sitting here. I shouted, pacing my tiny living room, the sheer scale of the lie almost paralyzing. I know, but it had to be cleaned up. So I brought in an external contractor, a specialist I know from my old firm, over the weekend. They streamlined the core logic. They finalized the build. The app is cleaner now, faster, and ready for launch. He paused, and the next words delivered the killing blow. Carefully measured to minimize liability while maximizing cruelty. I filed the incorporation papers. Kinetic Labs is now fully incorporated, and I am the sole founder and CEO. The contractor is a consultant, not a founder. Your services are, regrettably, no longer required.
You'll be compensated for your time, a fixed severance payment of $15,000 for your contributions over the last 3 years. That's more than fair, considering the code quality issues we had to fix. $15,000? For 3 years of my life, every line of proprietary code, every sleepless night, every ounce of intellectual property, dismissed and stolen for a pittance. He wasn't just firing me, he was erasing me from the history books of Kinetic, rewriting the entire origin story. He had leveraged his corporate standing, his access to legal resources, and my introverted, trusting nature to legally steal the intellectual core of the company days before a massive financial win. The sheer audacity was breathtaking. I managed to control the urge to scream. A cold, professional clarity washed over the initial shock, fueled by the realization that Marcus had fundamentally underestimated the creator of the system. "Marcus," I said, my voice dangerously level, echoing the stillness of my shock, "I hope that $15,000 covers your legal fees when I sue you and that specialist for theft of intellectual property and breach of partnership trust." He laughed, a dry, confident sound that grated on my nerves. "Save your breath, Alex. I have the signed incorporation documents, I control the funds, and my lawyer reviewed everything. The severance release releases all claims. Good luck with the legal fight, Alex. I've got a meeting with Apex. Don't call me again." He hung up. I sat there, the dead phone in my hand, watching my life's work vaporize. But Marcus had made 2 catastrophic miscalculations that he was blissfully unaware of. Miscalculation number 1. He assumed I was a conventional coder who stored everything on a central managed server, leaving me powerless when he changed the keys. Miscalculation number 2. He had no idea what I had done 6 months prior when I first began to notice his subtle, gradual shifts towards financial control and secrecy, driven by a nagging, professional paranoia about protecting my IP.
World of deeply proprietary, complex code, you don't build a massive system without leaving a few hidden redundancies and protective measures. 6 months ago, recognizing the fragility of a friendship turning into a business relationship, I had implemented a shadow IP protocol, my own private insurance policy. I hadn't just written the code, I had engineered a specific, time-delayed vulnerability into the core machine learning training model. This wasn't a bug. It was an intentional, deep-seated architectural feature that could only be activated by external, cryptographic input. It was a digital kill switch, embedded deep within the most protected and proprietary part of the code, the part he claimed his contractor had streamlined. The contractor had merely polished the surface interface and front end. They could never have fully rewritten or removed the foundational mathematical model without starting the entire 3-year training process from scratch. Marcus's specialist could recertify the surface-level code all they liked, but they couldn't rewrite the fundamental established mathematical model. They had simply polished my architecture, unwittingly preserving my digital Trojan horse. My revenge was not going to be a messy civil suit that dragged on for years. It was going to be an elegant, surgical, professional execution, leveraging the most important moment in his stolen career. I spent the next 2 days meticulously compiling the hard evidence of my original IP ownership, the signed partnership drafts he now denied existed, the thousands of hours of local GitHub contribution history, which he had cleverly locked away on the server, and the full technical documentation of the kill switch architecture. The final piece was a meticulously drafted formal letter from my attorney to be used later. I then initiated Phase 1, the trigger. I opened my private encryption tool and sent the complex, unique activation key to the embedded vulnerability. It was a silent, invisible shot across the bow, firing the digital equivalent of a timed explosive buried beneath the Kinetic empire. The next day, Marcus was scheduled to present Kinetic to Apex Fund for the $5 million seed round. He was presenting the streamlined version, the app built on my stolen IP, unaware that it was now a time bomb. I didn't need to be there to witness the pitch. I only needed to wait for the predictable fallout.
That evening, I got a frantic, anonymous call from a source I had cultivated during the early days of Kinetic, a former intern who was still friends with Marcus's executive assistant. The report was devastatingly beautiful and confirmed the success of my protocol. Marcus's pitch started brilliantly. The app looked sleek, the presentation flawless. He reached the critical moment of the demonstration, showing the predictive magic of the hyper-personalization. He handed the Apex team the live demo devices and asked them to input their current fitness data. The moment the app attempted to run a prediction based on the now corrupted training model, the problems began. The app, following the maliciously inverted statistical weights I injected, started making wildly nonsensical and potentially dangerous predictions.
In the world of deeply proprietary, complex code, you don't build a massive system without leaving a few hidden redundancies and protective measures. 6 months ago, recognizing the fragility of a friendship turning into a business relationship, I had implemented a shadow IP protocol, my own private insurance policy. I hadn't just written the code, I had engineered a specific, time-delayed vulnerability into the core machine learning training model. This wasn't a bug, it was an intentional, deep-seated architectural feature that could only be activated by external cryptographic input. It was a digital kill switch, embedded deep within the most protected and proprietary part of the code, the part he claimed his contractor had streamlined. The contractor had merely polished the surface interface and front end. They could never have fully rewritten or removed the foundational mathematical model without starting the entire 3-year training process from scratch. Marcus's specialist could recertify the surface-level code all they liked, but they couldn't rewrite the fundamental, established mathematical model. They had simply polished my architecture, unwittingly preserving my digital Trojan horse. My revenge was not going to be a messy civil suit that dragged on for years. It was going to be an elegant, surgical, professional execution, leveraging the most important moment in his stolen career. I spent the next 2 days